Guys, and welcome to another video. So in this video we're gonna be talking about how we can make builds, how I personally make my build in Helldivers. Now, as a little side note, we're losing this major order and I'm not really happy about it, but I did kinda get a little tired from all the lava planets. Anyways, so what we're gonna do when we want to make builds. So this is just my way of doing it, but I think it's really satisfying when it actually works because when your builds parts match and become compatible with each other like puzzle pieces, it's just really satisfying and tickles me if you know what I mean. So we're gonna start by just talking about in general how I decide what build I want to do. First step is just I take a look at some wool ones and well, which one do I want to explore? Which one is new to me? And I haven't explored enough. Probably right now would say the Halo ODSC. Um, I've done a couple of builds on the ones that I've bought. I think I'll buy Chemical Agents next, and maybe after that, the Dust Devils and the Python Commandos. But yeah, just to let you know, I've bought Helldivers Mobilize, which is for everybody. Steel Veterans, Democratic Demolition, Polar Patriots, um, and Borderland Justice, Force of Law, Control Group, Dust Devils. I haven't bought it yet. Halo, Holy ODSC. Halo ODSC, and Masters of Ceremony. So I have quite a bit to unlock still in this game. And the first thing that I do is I choose a war bond that I haven't really explored it. So we go here and do it. Sorry for a little interruption there. My dad called me. Anyways, so here, if we take a look, we can see that I have bought everything here. It's a really good thing to buy everything before you wanna um well make a build because then you will be more free. But well, we can just always buy the specific thing you want first. So here I will come here and see what I want to make a build with, and I see, hey, this um MA5C assault rifle is something I haven't made a build with, and it's actually a pretty good one. It's medium pen. It has pretty good fire rate, pretty good capacity, pretty low recoil. It's a pretty good weapon in general in this game. And the passive this armor or these two sets will give you is pretty good as well. So the first thing you're gonna do here is put this primary support or secondary gun, whatever it is, and just now imagine or calculate, I should say, what the odds are going to be. So this will give us high rate of fire. For example, there are some criteria. One of them is rate of fire and damage. One of them is penetration. One of them is good for range. These are really important in my opinion. And the other, if it's anti-tank or not, or if it's good for group control, and also if it's good for closing bug holes or um ships, automaton ships, or uh sorry, not Illumina ships or automaton fabricators. So what are we gonna do here, guys? This will give us good damage per second and a good rate of fire. So we don't, some things would pretty good, but we don't necessarily need something like the guard dog now, since we already have something with good rate of fire. Um, Therefore, we can use that slot for something more essential. For example, anti-tank. We could use a recoilless rifle. That could be both a very good sniper option from range, and a very good anti-tank. Or you could let your be anti-tank option be taken by your secondary. In that case, you would need to use the ultimatum. Me personally, I don't really want to spread it over multiple war bonds because it gets more expensive. but if you want to do, you can. Um, or you can just use the thermite from Democrat the Nation. The same thing for all the others goes really. Um, and for example, what we're are lacking here, oh my god, lacking here right now is good group control. For when there are clusters of enemies, possibly heavy armored, then our MA5C is not really gonna cut it. So we ask our secondary for help, and maybe you could use, the grenade pistol for that. Or if you have used your secondary as your anti-tank with the ultimatum, then you can use something like some of the grenades, like the pineapple, which is very good for group control. That I believe you get from Dust Devils. I'm not really sure. To kind of fill in that group control gap. The one with the most radius, preferably this frag. Ironically, it's one of the best the game gives you, which is your basic default. It's really good actually. Damage isn't the best, but it has relatively lower fuse time. It has the most radius of the defaults, and it also, well, aside from the dynamite, but that dynamite has like 2 times more fuse time, and the penetration is almost also not bad, but it's medium. It's a good one. So here you could use the frag or the thermite if you have it, but I recommend something with a lower detonation time, preferably. But note that if it's the impact, it will be very hard to close down those automatons and buckles with. I think Illumine is still going to be pretty easy to do. And in this way, we've covered a lot of scenarios. Now, for our backpack, it purely really just depends on you, since, well, it doesn't really offer a very significant offensive perk, but, well, sometimes it is your support's backpack for ammo, and sometimes it is going to be used for guard dog, which is just more firepower.
Good luck out.
So right here we've just made a build for the MA5C rifle that covers a lot of areas. Now, stratagem wise, let's take a look at our stratagems and see what we can do. Well, first of all, I'm not really defensive person, not really. Most of the times I don't use sentries in my builds. If I have an extra slot, I might do it. And if I'm using the guard dogs, then they become even more obsolete, because guard dog's basically sentry, but on your back, so that's even better. And it isn't a light pennant; it's medium or even heavy. Because flamethrower and gas, I think, go through heavy armor. Yeah, that's right. So for the MA1C, as we talked about, the recoilless rifle is going to be a very good pick, or really just anything with good range and anti-tank, or maybe, I don't know, maybe an expendable anti-tank, maybe commando. Well, if you use the commando, the good thing is that you can then use the other slots for your backpack. Railgun is a very good pick. Spear is, again, very good for big targets. It only targets big ones, but I think one-shots them. And the Wasp Launcher is my favorite, personally, since it's very variable, gets good ammo, like it's a good range group control that we still haven't really talked about, that grenades can't really do. It has the airburst mode to turn on, and honorable mention, airburst rocket launcher is a very underrated pick. I will get into it in next video, which I'm going to be talking about some underrated weapons. Anyways, for this build, you could give, as I said, your anti-tank to this, or if you have already given your anti-tank to something else, well, then you can use this slot for something, some other function. Like if you have used your grenade slot for that, what do you call it, thermite, and your secondary as, say, the senator, just for a good heavy pen, reliable option that you use when you're out of ammo, and your primary is already taken, obviously. Well, one option could be, as I said, the grenade launcher or the airburst rocket launcher for range. And the grenade launcher is better on this build specifically since it has maybe a little less range than where is it? Than the airburst, but it's a lot less deadly to yourself and your squad, which is better if you have less experience in the game. It's not necessarily for less experienced people. And that's basically the deal for supports, and the blue stuff you see here for the offensives and the orbitals, basically, and the eagles. So it would be very very good to have another anti tank, but it honestly is going to be prominent in our build already. So what I do recommend is you use something like the 380 mmHE barrage. This will clear out a camp. Most likely than not, it's going to destroy at least most of the enemies, or I should say the fabricators, and if there are any stuff like some tanks or mortars, or maybe sometimes in objectives, it will destroy them. And the cooldown is fairly decent. It's it does recharge from one outpost to another, and maybe even once between that. So it's really good for those. Well, these are something you should just adjust according to your build. So, for example, in our build right here, something like, again, this is useful on every build, to be honest. But if you already have another anti-tank or a lot of it, like in this build, a cluster bomb would be really good. Um, you see that something like the 500 kg is not necessarily going to be good. Yes, it's going to be very good if you have multiple of one option, because then you will just spam one thing after another. But again, if you can give it to something that you don't have, it would be better. Precision strike is going to be good. EMS are better in this because you can stop, which is a function we don't already have a lot of. And I think that's it for these. Rail cannon strike, we don't really need it since we already have our anti-tank. Again, something preferably you don't have the function of. And if you have room for more, make sure to put in another, if you're more supportive, more another backpack or another weapon for another player, or you can use these can actually be really good at times. I've tested these some out. Especially in defense missions, these mines could be very good. Especially the gas mines I've heard of. The one I use the most is either machine gun or Gatling, depending on, again, how much firepower do I have and how much do I need and how quick do I need it to recharge or stay up. Or this could be another anti-tank. However, I wouldn't really recommend putting your only anti-tank bet on this because, well, it has to regenerate and it's stationary and it's not as reliable as your own hands. Or the exosuit, if you're more of a tank person, why not? And that's basically it. And I'm just gonna show you the build I already have. My builds change from time to time, maybe even from like 2 days, 3 days. I would change my build every 3 days or 4 days. But right now, I am mainly around my support, which is going to be something called the Arc Thrower. Now, it's not very popular, but still, I kind of like it. I kind of like the stun stuff, hence I got Force of Law. So I'm just gonna say that it's not going to be the deadliest of all, but it just really is satisfying how the pieces of the build click together to make this happen. Hello, Captain Brash. So if we are going to be using a arc thrower as our primary, I mean like this thing you use more, not as your literal primary here, then you lack a lot of stuff. You will lack heavy fire, heavy high damaging fire. You will lack range. Range and high damage would be done by Dominator, and I kind of want to keep it in one frame of build, so this Warrant would be also a good choice since it's in the Force of Law. Throwable, this is going to check out two other options, bug holes and stuff like that, and a good group control. Now I already have group control with our backpack K9 and Dark Server, and we will get into it in a bit. And this is really good for overseers. I think you already know that. But still, when this runs out of ammo, this will be your savior, kind of, because the R3 doesn't work in close range combat. I mean, super close range combat. And I think a lot of people just underestimate the R3's range. I got 50 meters or something with it. And for let me show you my thingy here. We have a group control. For our group control, again, some things have been repeated here, just to get that overall better effect. The more you repeat an effect, it's obviously going to be stronger in a build. So I'm going to be using an orbital EMS, which I know it's a pretty weird choice, but it is good. The cooldown is very short, 64 seconds, and if there's like bot drops coming in, you put that where the bots are gonna land, or the illuminate, or whatever they are, and it will just stun them for like 20 seconds, and you can disperse, or 10 seconds maybe, disperse of them fairly decently. And you can also use the what do you call it? The EMS mortar. That I've tested out. It's pretty decent. That I won't really recommend it over the EMS orbital strike. And the other option that we're going to be using is, as I've discussed, the 380 millimeter. Wait, is it millimeter? I don't know. I think it is. HE barrage. That's going to be clearing out camps, especially at those higher levels. This is a must-have, honestly. And ship module will not vehicle customization. I kept it in the frame of Force of Law. And for my backpack, that's where it gets interesting. I should have theoretically used the guard dog for my firepower, but I chose to use another guard dog that is still going to give me a little bit of firepower and repeat that function of stunning with arc that the thingy does, the arc thrower. I think it's a blitzer or an arc thrower on top of it. I'm not sure. I think it's an arc thrower. And the K9 is a very, very underrated pet, and these two make for a good combo. Sometimes, a lot of times, we both use it at the same time, do a lot of damage, because, they're heavy pen. The game might lie a little to you, but as far as I know, I think it's heavy pen. Definitely the arc thrower you hold, and the game doesn't tell you that as well, but that's also a heavy pen, if I can find this arc thrower, bro. The arc thrower. Yeah, the game doesn't tell you, but it's a heavy pen, and you can already see when there are multiple enemies. And for that rapid acquisition where a lot of people have been having nightmares with, this is very good. And we'll just it will obliterate them. Like when they're coming up the stairs or coming down the stairs, especially, you're just gonna stand there and spam this. It's just gonna rummage at them all and lob between all of them. But just remember, this has killed me and my teammates for a lot, and just be careful to use it carefully. And yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and learned something from it so they can make effective builds. But at the end of the day, you can use whatever you want, bro. You can even use gibberish and make it work in this game. This is how strong some stuff really is. And let me know if you comments if you if you'd like to see another video about these topics, builds. If you want to see my builds, I make quite a lot of builds. These kinds of builds that are pretty decent at times. But again, I kind of like to keep it as a challenge and do like an only force of law and control group one, and only force of law and like Halo one. I'm gonna like keep it in 1 or 2 frames of war bonds. And World Injustice is up. Look at that. Ooh, I gotta get farming. I gotta get farming. Democracy's they oh look at that. Well, yeah, anyways. Um Make sure to like the video and dislike it if you like. Well, if you don't like, and subscribe if you want to see more, and ring the bell, or unsubscribe if you already aren't, and don't ring the bell, don't turn it on, and also see you next time.